One of the reasons I really wanted to write Real Revision was because I think kids have a real misconception about authors and the amount of perhaps innate writing talent that we have. My books, my first drafts, are not pretty. They go through a lot of stages and a lot of scribbling and a lot of post-it notes and a lot of big black X's across them until I'm happy with what I've done. And I think that's really important for kids to know. I remember growing up thinking, wow, Beverly Cleary and Judy Blume are such good writers, I could never write like that. And I couldn't the first time, and I still can't the first time. When I visit classrooms, I tell kids, I'm an okay writer, but I'm a really good reviser. And that, I think, is the thing that takes everybody's writing, whether they're a published author or a third or fourth or fifth grader, to the next level, is that ability to go back and see it again. So I'll tell you a secret about revision and feeling like I've got it right. I have one copy of The Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z that I read from if I do a bookstore signing or an event. And if you were to sneak up behind me and pick up that copy, that finished copy of the final draft, you would see pencil marks in it where I have revised the final draft. And when I read it, I read the new version because you're always seeing things. Obviously, as a writer, whether a student writer or a published author, there is a time when you have to say, now it's the best I can do, and hand it over, whether that's to your teacher or to your editor or to readers in the case of a published book. So yeah, I mean, it takes a long time, but usually with a manuscript, I get to a point where I read it and I'm changing all the A's to thes and back again, and that's when it's time to give it up. Well, Marty McGuire is actually a book that I talk about a lot in Real Revision. This is the first in a new chapter book series with Scholastic. It is about Marty, who is a third grader. She loves to catch frogs and crayfish and get muddy, and then they make her be the princess in her school play. And so it's very much a book about learning to improvise and find a way to make things work. And I think that's suitable in the world of revision too. This was a book that I had to revise an awful lot. I wrote a first draft of it that I sent to my literary agent. She loved it and said, but I think you should start over, and here's why. And I rolled my eyes and stomped my feet a little bit, and then realized that she had a really good idea and a really interesting idea that would take this character in perhaps a better, stronger direction and a way that would be more accessible for kids. So I started over, and I ended up with a book that was much stronger and that did end up selling to Scholastic. And that's actually one of the stories that I tell in Real Revision. Sometimes for our students, the very best way to revise is to just give it another try from the beginning. And that can be really tough to hear. Like, it was hard for me to hear. I was like, what? I might have written it this way, but I didn't. I wrote it this way, and here it is. And I think kids feel often like they've put so much work into that first draft. You want me to go back and do it again? It's just overwhelming, unless they realize that that first draft in and of itself has value, and that they'll be able to use a lot of what they've written and a lot of the ideas that they've come up with in a second draft as the story or report or whatever it is gets stronger.